Technology is all around us. It's in the music we hear, the games we play, and the work we do. No matter what we do or where the world takes us, technology will always be there. Technology is not just computers. Technology is a collection of tools made by people to help make the world a better place or to just make things easier for people like you and me. When I was young, I liked to play outside like every other kid and use my imagination. But just like every other kid, I wanted the newest video game system. And my grandmother got me this. It was not what I wanted. I mean, I asked for games, but this wasn't it. I did learn something though from that machine. That technology can do anything you want it to do, as long as you can speak its language. And I had to learn its language by brute force. Mental force, that is. Stick along, watch, and listen closely, and I'll show you how to speak the language of technology. Since the dawn of time, kids have used their imaginations to make all sorts of games, from soccer to basketball, even darts. Today, we're going to use programming to create our own game. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to go to scratch.mit.edu. This is a website that anybody can use, and they're going to be using a block code. We'll call it Blockly for now. This is the way that students at such organizations and colleges as Harvard or MIT begin to learn how coding is done. So let's click Start Creating. In this lesson, we're going to begin creating a Pong-like game. But our Pong-like game is going to include a soccer ball. It's going to be in 2D. So a few things you need to know. First is our sprite. Right here, our sprite is a cat. And anytime we have a picture in our work area, we'll call it a sprite. For now, we'll delete our sprite, the cat. And we're going to add a new sprite. But before we do, there's a few other things to show you. So here is our motion menu. These are blocks of code. And when we write blocks of code, they work in the same way as these blocks of code. This is for motion. Purple is for looks. We'll call this pink. That's for sound. Yellow is for events. Orange is for control. Also, blue is for sensing. That's how our sprites can tell what's going on inside its world. Green is for operators. This is where we can add math and math operations into our code. Orange is for variables. This is where we can create our very own blocks of code. And we can save them down here in My Block. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get a sprite. And we'll go down here to choose the sprite. There are several ways to add a sprite. We can search for a sprite, paint our own sprite, get a surprise sprite, or upload a sprite from pictures that we've already got from online or other places. Let's choose a sprite for now. So choosing a sprite, we're going to get a soccer ball. I'm going to type in soccer, find my soccer ball, and now I have my soccer ball sprite. Let's get our soccer ball sprite moving. It's very easy. The first thing we want to do is take our move 10 steps code and put it right in the middle. Now, if we move 10 steps, our ball will only move forward a certain amount. If we click on it, we can see our soccer ball move every time we click. Now, we need to get the ball moving, but we're going to make the ball move non-stop. So what we can do is go to our orange control menu, and we'll make him move forever, 10 steps. Let's click on our code and see what happens. He moved, and then he stopped right on the edge. Okay, so when he reaches the edge, we want something to happen. For this to be a pong game, we probably want our ball to go back and forth. So let's go back to our motion menu. It's blue. And when he reaches the edge, we're going to find bounce. So we'll scroll, and it says, if on the edge, bounce. We'll take that piece of code and put it right under move 10 steps. Let's click on that code. All right, now the ball is in action. It's going back and forth. I'll stop that right there. The next thing we want to do is make it where when we click on our ball, it may not move, but we won't see the code to make our ball move. So we have to start it somehow. We're going to get what's called an event handler. An event handler in the events menu tells us when our sprite can start an action. So let's start the action of moving forever and bouncing on the edge with a green flag. We'll click and drag when the green flag is clicked. And just to add a little variability into our ball sprite moving, we're going to go down to motion, the blue motion menu, and we're going to point our ball in a 45-degree direction. So we'll get point in direction 90. That means 90 degrees. We'll change 90 to 45. See that? That's like an acute angle. It's a 45-degree angle. When we connect this, watch what happens. When I click the green flag, the ball is moving all around the stage. And back and forth, that would have just been boring. So I'm glad now we got it bouncing off the walls. Let's stop it right there. Now, the next thing we need to do is get something like a foot to kick the ball. So let's search. Maybe I can search for a foot. Oh, no, but I do have a goalie. Okay. Oh, and I do have Jordan, and Jordan is kicking. Let's get Jordan. All right, and we'll put Jordan right here. Now, Jordan is a little big for my liking because the ball will never get past Jordan at this size. So what I'm going to do is make sure I click on Jordan and make sure Jordan is right here in the top right corner of my workspace. Now I'm going to add code to Jordan. So I'm going to get an event handler. When the green flag is clicked, I'm going to change the way Jordan looks by setting her size to 50%. And then I'm going to click the green flag just so I can see what Jordan looks like. And she looks kind of small there, but guess what? When she's full screen, she'll be huge. So I'll stop it right there. I'll go to the orange control menu. And what I want Jordan to do, I want her to move up when I press the up key and down when I press the down key. So I'm going to get a forever loop. This will make sure that my code goes on forever until the game is stopped or until something else happens. And then I'm going to get an if-then loop. So an if-then loop is called a conditional. If one thing happens, then another thing will happen. So what is the condition? Oh, if I press the up button, then my sprite, Jordan, will go up. Let's go ahead and find some information about that. Maybe I won't have something that says up button, but then again, maybe I will. Let's go to sensing. And I can say, if touching the mouse pointer, then but I can change that word mouse pointer to something else. Well, maybe I can go and find something like key space pressed. So I'll take that out and I'll say if the key space is pressed, and I'll change the word space to up arrow. That looks great. Now, if the key up arrow is pressed, then Jordan will move up. Now, Jordan is on an imaginary axis. She's actually on the XY axis. So I'll click on motion. And what I want her to do is change Y by 10. A positive Y of 10 will move Jordan up. Let's go ahead and click the green flag and see what happens when we press up. Jordan's going up. Outstanding. Let me stop that right there. And what I'm going to do next is copy this code. To copy code, all you have to do is right click on the code. When you right click on the code, you can click duplicate. And then you'll have two of the same code. Now, of course, we don't want the key up arrow to be pressed for Jordan for our second piece of code. So I'll take that and I'll throw it away by putting it on top of the other code. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say if the key down arrow is pressed. So let's go down and we'll find that code. If the key down arrow is pressed, it'll be in sensing. And then we'll slide that in the middle of our if-then statement. If the key down arrow is pressed, and we won't change Y by 10, we're going to change Y by, you guessed it, -10. Now, I'm going to click on the green flag and watch what happens when I press the up arrow and the down arrow. All right, Jordan's going up and she's going down, but the ball is flying right through her. So there's one more thing that I need to do. I need to select the soccer ball. Now, when the green flag is clicked, something new is going to happen. So I'm going to go to the events and pull out a new event handler when the green flag is clicked. I'm going to go to the controls and I'm going to say forever. This next piece of code that I'm putting in here is going to happen forever. And then I'm going to say if then. And can you guess what we go to next? Which category should we select if we wanted the ball to sense when it was touching Jordan? That's right, the sensing area. So if touching Jordan, so we'll say if touching the mouse pointer, and we'll change the word mouse pointer to Jordan, then the ball is going to change directions and it's going to go to the other side of the screen. So I'm going to click on the motion menu and I'm going to turn the ball right 15 degrees, but I'm going to change 15 degrees. Let's change it to 135 degrees. And let's see what happens. Green flag is pressed. Jordan is moving up and down. Oh, and the ball bounced right off of her. That is amazing. Now, of course, you want to play with those degrees because if it touches Jordan in the wrong way, the ball will just go up and down and it might happen forever. So let's try turning right 137 degrees. Just a little off, but it still makes it look like there's a little variability there. Oh. We'll click stop. Now, of course, if we wanted to add another sprite, we absolutely could. We can go to choose sprite. Let's say I said, remember I said foot? There you go. There's our football guy. And then there's Ben. So we'll get Ben. And I want to turn Ben around. So to turn him around, we're going to go to the costumes area. We're going to click flip horizontal. Click on that. Now, Ben is turning to the left. Okay, let's go back to our code. And we'll see When the green flag is clicked, if you haven't done that already, you go to the yellow events menu and click when the green flag is clicked, pull it out. And then it's as easy as clicking on Jordan and taking all of your code and dropping it right on Ben. Watch this. Boom. Now, when we click on Ben, all the code has transferred over there to Ben. Let's click the green flag. And now they both go up when up is pressed. And then we want to get that down code. And we'll drop that right on Ben. And click the green flag again. They both go up and down. The green flag is clicked. Now, we're selecting Ben, and what we want to do, let me get this out of the way, I'll throw that away. We want to make sure that Ben and Jordan are not going up and down on the same keys. So I can use the letters A for up, or that is -10, so that'll be down. So let me say A, key A is pressed for up, and for down, I'm going to say key Z, just because it's right below A. You can use any two-key combination that you like, whichever is easier for you, but this way, you'll be able to play a two-player game. So let me click pause or stop. I'm going to click the green flag, and now both of them move independently of each other. Okay? Let me stop that code. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to have the ball bounce off of Ben. So let me go back to the soccer ball. It says if touching Jordan, we're going to turn right 137 degrees. I can duplicate that code by right-clicking. If you have a Mac, you can click on your touchpad with 2 fingers. And then I'm going to click the word duplicate. And now it says if touching Jordan, then turn 137 degrees. It says that twice. But this time I'm going to change it to if touching Ben. And I'm going to go to my blue motion menu. And instead of turning right, I'm going to turn the ball left. And maybe let's try 137 degrees. Let's see what happens. We'll click that green flag. And the ball does bounce off. Now, it is possible for the ball to kind of phase through. And usually, if you like to fix something like that, you just have it wait 1 second so that the ball can run the code instead of trying to continue to run the code while right inside of Jordan. Now, how do you get points? Well, points start with variables. Let me pause it right there. I'm going to go to variables, and we'll do something like this. Let's set a variable. And we're going to click make a variable. We're going to call it score. And click OK. We'll say score Jordan. And click OK. All right. Now, in order for Jordan to score, something has to happen. So let's go get an event handler when the green flag is clicked. And then we'll go get a control forever. And then we'll get an if-then loop. We'll put that right in there, a conditional. We'll go down to variables. And we have to say if, let's say, if touching a certain color. If touching a certain color, then Jordan scores a point. So how can we touch a certain color? What we need to do is we need to change our background. So let's go here to background. We can add a cool little background. How about a soccer field or just a nice field? Let's see. We'll type it in. There we are. And on our field, we can go over here in the middle. It says backdrops. And we can click on the square. And we can draw a square. I'll draw a purple square. There are other ways to create scores, and this is one of them. It's a very effective way. And for Jordan's side, we can get a red, more of a red square or rectangle. We'll draw a red rectangle. There we go. And then we'll go back to code. We'll click on our soccer ball. And we're going to go back to our code and our if-then conditional. And we're going to click on sensing. If touching a color, then we'll go to variables. We'll change our variable by 1. And our variable will be score of Jordan. We'll change that score of Jordan by 1. Now that we get a score, we need to make sure that when the green flag is clicked, we set the score to 0. So we'll set Jordan's score to 0 once the green flag is clicked, but we won't do it forever, just at the beginning. Okay? And then to see what color we press, we'll click on that, and then we can click on the eyedrop, and then we'll go over to the purple rectangle, click on that color. Now, if touching that color, Jordan will get a score. Let's see if it works. Green flag is clicked. Jordan kicks. Jordan scores. And she scored 3. That was a 3. Oh, and the scores are going bonanza. They are going so fast. So let me stop that right there. And we'll change the score by 1 if touching purple. But there's one other thing. We're going to go to control. And we're going to wait 1 second. We're going to give the ball time to bounce back so that the score doesn't change so fast. So let's hit the green flag again. Boom. There it is. Jordan's getting her points. Now, of course, if you want to get Ben to get the points, you're going to do the same thing. Or, to make it easier, let's stop that. We can just take this information and drop it on Ben. But before we do that, we need to go to variable. We need to make a new variable. And we can say Ben score. Click OK. Now we're going to go to the ball sprite. So click on the soccer ball sprite. All right. And then you'll see where it says set Jordan's score to 0. We're going to right click that. Make sure you right click the top so you can collect or select the entire code string. Click duplicate. We'll bring it down here. We're going to go to score Jordan and change that to Ben's score. So we're going to set Ben's score to 0. And then we're going to change where it says score Jordan again. We're going to change that to change Ben's score by 1. And this time we're going to change the color with the eyedropper. We're going to click on that red rectangle. I'm going to clear this and we'll just see what we get here. There's a score from Jordan and there's a score from Ben. You have your own Pong, soccer game. It's 2 players. You're getting a score. And if you get enough of a score, you can end the game. Now that's your homework. Can you do it? Hey, thanks for watching.